Hi everyone, welcome to Windy Hills Lavender. Today we're going to be making some wax melts. We're going to be making lavender, so we're going to make them purple, but you don't have to dye them if you don't have any dye or you don't want to dye them. But today we're making some little lavender flowers there. So as far as the ingredients go, right here I have already melted my beeswax and soy wax because it takes forever to melt. So I've got 3 ounces of beeswax and 6 ounces of soy wax. Okay? Here I have 1 ounce of essential oil. We're using lavender today because we're lavender. And in my little cup here I've got a half of a square of red and a half of a square of blue dye. I didn't have any purple, so we're going to make our own, and I just ran out to Hobby Lobby and got some dye here. Now you have to make sure that you use candle dye, not soap dye. Soap dye will not work, okay? So what we're going to do is we've got our wax here. We're just going to take, and I've got a little pair of scissors here. We're just going to cut this up and put it into our wax just so it melts quicker. Probably just drop the whole thing in there, but I like to shred it up a little bit. Makes it melt quicker. But like I said, make sure you use candle wax, not soap wax. Or candle dye. Sorry, misspoke there. I'm going to make sure it's for candles. Okay, so as you can see, it's starting to melt in there pretty quickly. So we're just going to give this a good little stir so it's all incorporated really well. And you can get all of these ingredients at like Michael's Arts and Crafts or Hobby Lobby, or you know, your general little craft store that you might have. Okay, and we're going to check the temperature. I like to, with my essential oils, I like to keep them like under 140 degrees, so we'll just see where this is at. It's still a little warm. We want to give it a couple of minutes. We could probably dump it into another container if we wanted to dump out some of the heat real quick, but we'll just give that a little minute to cool there. So this is the little mold that I'm going to use. You can use anything. You can get like a little baking tin or something and line it with wax paper, and then just cut your little squares later if you wanted to. They don't have to be, you know, they don't have to be little fancy little things, and you know, unless you're using them as a gift or something. So you wouldn't want to I don't even know what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what, you know, they don't have to be beautiful. They can be anything to put into your little diffusers. Okay, so cooling this down for another minute. Yeah, I got another 1 second. You can dump some of the heat out by pouring this into here. And as you can see, it's a really quick and easy little project. Good for, you know, to have little girls would have a lot of fun. You know, 8 or 10 years old, they'd have a lot of fun doing this little project. Maybe you got a little Girl Scout group or something. Brownies. Okay, so that dumped out some of the heat. We're going to go ahead and add our essential oil. We're going to mix that in real quick. Move this stuff out of the way. So as you can see, the longest time is getting the wax to melt, and so I just kind of sped that little step up so we don't have to sit here and twiddle our thumbs, or I could have done a dance for you while we waited, but you know, you don't want to see me dance. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and fill up our little cavities here. And depending on what your mold is, like this particular mold, I'm going to have more than enough. So what I'll do is I'll end up having to remelt it once these have cooled, and then I'll just re-pour them into the rest. After this cools, it'll take about 15 minutes for this to cool, and then they just pop right out. It's really no big deal. And I'm not too concerned about being super tidy on these little cavities, because I'm going to have extra, and I can just scrape off the extra chunks and add them back to my leftover that I have already. So as you can see, very simple. You have lots of little wax melts or tarts, whatever you want to call them, to last you a while, unless you give them all away, which tends to happen, especially if you make cute little ones, and then you're so proud of them and you're like, oh, I gotta give this to so and so. And they make neat little, you know, like little, if you have a wedding shower or baby shower or something like that, fun little things, you know. So, okay, so as you can see, we do have some leftover, and we're just going to go ahead and set that in there to keep it warm so it doesn't solidify all the way. We're going to let these sit for about 15 minutes, and you know, you'll test them, and you know, you just push on them a little bit, and if they just break away, because they break away really easy, you just pretty much flip them over and pop them out. So that's all there is to it. Pretty simple project, and they smell wonderful. I wish you could smell through the camera. Anyways, thank you from all of us at Windy Hills Lavender. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.